My name is Bellick and this is the Abby Show!
This summer, a burning question brought me to the waters of Alaska, where I learned the skills and experienced the lifestyle of a skiff man, fishing on Kodiak Island, which surprisingly is a third of the size of Israel where I grew up. Back home on the Jewish day of rest, Shabbat, Mom would often make delicious salmon, and while we would bless the challah bread and wine, the salmon was ignored. I'd close my eyes and try to imagine the process of how this fish made it to our table.
Welcome to Perth, seining fishing.
Mornings begin at unreasonable hours for someone living at work. Our skipper Jake hauls anchor around 5 and heads over to our fishing location. As for the crew, we can take our time until we hear his cue,
30 minutes!
informing us of the time left until we set out our seine. The 4 of us take our positions. Ali Zulzir Rosado, our cork stacker, Calvin, our lead stacker, Jake, our genius captain in the wheelhouse, and yours truly in the skiff. A fishing set lasts 60 minutes and is broken up into 2 stages, 30 minutes each. The first, towing the seine. Z detaches the skiff using the pancake and off I go. During the first 20 minutes, all eyes are scouting the waters for jumpers running down the coast. These acrobats signal schools of salmon and we want them in our set.
Time to plunge.
But no plunging can keep away the world's biggest creatures, whales, which we can only hope won't enter the set and tear up the seine. But they're not the only distraction at work. Bald eagles, dolphins, otters, sea lions, and the wildlife list continues. Surrounded by these creatures, I have 20 minutes of bliss until minute 21 appears on my stopwatch. Time to hook the skiff around and head back to begin the second stage, stacking the seine. At full throttle, Jake and I approach, swap the seine line for the tow line attached to the boat, and I begin to tug. In reverse. Time to sit down and focus. At this stage, every distraction is costly. Each salmon successfully escaping between the seine and the boat could cost $1.50 a pound. So I must anticipate where the corks will be in 10 seconds and react accordingly, considering the direction and strength of the tide, wind, boat, and speed of hydraulics, while I wait to counter the boat's list and prevent losing our catch. With such high stakes, I'm as concentrated as bleach, which coincidentally is how we clean our buckets, serving our needs for everything. Everything.
Okay, enough of this crap. Focus, remember?
45 minutes in, the pursing stage is over, meaning that the bottom of our seine is now sealed, looking a bit like our coffee strainer. Anything in it will be brought on board. But not everything is welcome. Getting the salmon on board is a tiresome ordeal for Z and Calvin. Depending on location and tide, hundreds of kilos of kelp and jellyfish are dumped back into the ocean. When the money bag is finally on board, there are only one of 2 emotional reactions. Disappointment, which we deal with pretty well.
Whoa! We got so much money! Wow!
Or celebration. In such a case, it's a matter of time until other seiners appear to have their slice of the fish cake. More boats mean a longer wait, and entertainment options are, well, limited.
Arm wrestling. Here we go.
I just want to say that whatever happens, you can admire the spectacular nature. Try picking up reception from the crow's nest. Perhaps cook, which in itself is a challenge, seeing that our bunks, living room, and kitchen are all squeezed in our tiny home. Living so close to the thousands of deceased fish, you can imagine the scent we all produce and how ready we are to deliver them. But we're not alone. We're only one of Kodiak's fishing fleet who need to deliver their salmon. Getting 10 tons of salmon onto our tenders is quite the hustle, especially since the fish need to be sorted. The fish are sucked up by the biggest vacuum I've ever seen and flushed out on a slimy sorting table, where they are separated into 5 salmon species. The reds, silvers, pinks, dogs, and the kings, the only species to return to sea after spawning. For us to stay out at sea, we depend on these tenders, restocking us with fresh water, petrol, and ice. These enormous ice bags are craned onto the fish hold and smashed up to keep future catches cold. The last stage of processing salmon for consumers is done by the canneries back in town. Tenders travel back and forth 24/7 so that we can continue working 7 days a week. But this doesn't mean we can't celebrate Shabbat. On the contrary, we do! And with our very own freshly caught silver salmon.
Shabbat Shalom. Hey! Shabbat Shalom. Hey! Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Hey, we all have practices we hold close to our hearts. Mine is being mindful about the production process of food that I consume. Yet from my own experience, there's only so much that can be learned theoretically. To truly understand things we care about, we need to experience it. And for me, that meant becoming a skiff man on the other side of the world. For the next 3 months, I'll be motorcycling through all 48 US states, attempting to set my second Guinness World Record for the longest distance on a scooter, together with my biz partner and video producer, Global Mike Reid. 3 months, 48 states, 48 videos. Make sure you join the ride.